Hi there, how are you, my dear audience? Today I shall impart upon you knowledge. Let me tell you a tale, a story, a parable where many of you might relate, and hopefully you can incorporate into your daily life. Our story begins with a simpleton posting away on Twitter. It was a Saturday night. Lively was our protagonist, typing away in hopes to achieve that famed Twitter cloud. He was tweeting all sorts of takes, be it hot or lukewarm, hoping that the opinions he authored might amuse the Twitter single brain cell hive mind. A few likes there, some retweets over there, and one tweet in particular accumulated 50 likes, which is embarrassing how much he cares so much about that shit. Suddenly, his phone chimed that bird-like tune. A notification. Someone has replied to one of his tweets. Hurriedly, he opened the application, thinking that his time in the spotlight has come, only to find this replied under his tweet. The reply pointed out a misspelling on one of his tweets, the most pathetic of tweets, barely needing one's attention. In fact, no one should take everything on that site seriously. And much worse, the reply was getting more likes than the original tweet. Deeply annoyed, he considered blocking the person like the pussy he is, but instead, he thought of an idea. I should improve my vocabulary, he said to himself. He opened his Intel Pentium 4GB RAM laptop that won't charge unless you position it the right way, and said to himself, "Is your vocabulary shit? Do you get bullied online because you pronounce L as R? Do you suffer from the inability to pronounce sibilant? Well, instead of going to school or speech classes, you should probably play Bookworm Adventures." Released in 2006, it is a word-forming puzzle game, not unlike the shit you see that fills any app store. It will give your English speaking skills a workout as you weave out strings of nonsensical words out of the provided tiles like a gaming journalist trying to reach a quota. And womp, destroy, and decimate your way to victory. But most of your time will be wasted because you insist that you've totally spelled that word right and the game's bugged and stupid, and I'm fucking Google it now to prove. Gameplay is not as simple as you think. Forget that I said this is a word-forming game. It's actually a turn-based grand strategy role-playing game, where you and your opponents take turns in beating each other. You are given a 4x4 grid, limiting you to 16 letters. Not that any of you could use all these letters. The length of the words you spell dictate the damage you do to enemies. Very similar to cyberbullying. 3-letter words might as well be a pinprick, while the longest possible word you can spell will wipe out your opponent in just one shot. And because most of the mechanics are tied to your progression, I will now talk about the story. I am Lex, the bookworm working as an assistant under Codex in the Great Library. As I was brushing up for my spelling bee contest, I get booty called by the famed oracle Cassandra. Codex surmised that she might need help and of course delegate the manual labor to his underpaid assistant. I am transported to the literary interpretation of ancient Greece. It's either Iliad or the Odyssey. My very first battle is against some random Spartan. Why do these guys get all the hype when they just crumple under the strength of a nerd? By the way, since I've got big brain and I have replayed this game so many times, I impose some rules upon myself. There are 3 worlds in this game. In the first world, I'm not allowed to use 3-letter words, only 4 and above. In the second world, no 3 to 4-letter words, only 5 and above. And in the last world, I can only use 6 letters and above. Anyway, since I've upped my word power, I've mostly wiped the floor with most of the Greek mythos. I've faced Polyphemus in a rap battle, debated with Scylla, visited Circe, and told Cerberus he was a baba boy. The first few stages introduce you to some debuff mechanics. Some monsters may break your tiles, which does reduce damage for a few turns. Some may stun, others causes burn, and some will power up their next attack to do more damage. Very simple so far. After I clear the underworld level, I get to meet Hephaestus? What? For freeing the godly blacksmith, he gives me gem tile, which doesn't make sense. Why would he give me that? gems can't be forged. These gem tiles are extremely powerful. Emerald gems heals you. Amethyst gems poisons your enemies for a few rounds. The sapphire gems freezes your enemies. Garnet gems heals your Ruby gems deflects burns. Crystal gems purifies your grit and gives you invincibility. And the diamond is kind of useless if I'm being honest. These gems are game changers. They also have the side effect of inflicting more spite to your verbal abuse. You can even stack as much effects as you can. But here's a little pro tip. Don't use your gems willy-nilly. Save up the powerful gems for the boss fights. If you can, save the letters that spell the longest words as well, like soup made out of bats. Boss fights in this game are not to be underestimated. Spam as many small PP words against the mob until you reach the boss. Your lengthy slander mixed with your gem-encrusted cadence will prove emotionally damaging against your antagonists. Pro tip: over. After defeating some chumps, I reach Medusa's lair. Here you experience the debuff, Viagra, which renders you rock hard for 2 rounds. There's also the plague tiles, which spread throughout the grid if you don't vaccinate immediately. This level is the casual filter, especially if you're an illiterate dumbass. Everything you learned from the past culminates here. It would do you well to be verbose since Medusa hits like a bitch. For me, it was a piece of cake though. And now, the game ends. It is a very short game. Core. Gameplay. Just kidding. Just like Princess Peach, Cassandra gets relocated to another castle. Codex explained that he knows who the true culprit is. But before we take action, I need to procure a legendary weapon. From the Arabian Desert, of course. The next book is the famed collection of tales, The 1001 Arabian Night. I start in the thievery scourge port of Alexandria. Everybody here is so emo and edgy. The bleed debuff hurts really bad, but don't worry, we've got you covered. Potions are the consumables of this RPG game. Shit. The health potion does what the name implies. The Gamma Ray potion powers up your next attacks and removes the weakened debuff. The Purify potion is the vaccine. Random bottles of potions will drop from your opponents as you defeat them. It would be wise to save up on the potions, and do not use them just because you're fucking poisoned that lasts just for 1 round. And because we are now at the second world, I am now limited to only 5 letter words and above, which actually makes things a lot easier. The 5 and above letter words pack such heat, sometimes I breeze through these levels. In my search for the ultimate weapon, I clean up a thief's den, disturb a pharaoh's rest, and solve some riddles that I've already memorized. As I board a boat full of pirates, I experience an extremely annoying debuff. This enables the opponents to steal my gems, and the motherfuckers will go for it. After surviving that ordeal, I rediscover Africa, experience extreme dehydration, and shake down a small business owner for their money. However, he gives me a bootleg magical lamp. Instead of getting wishes, I get an absolute ass whooping. But get this, the boss is named Shaitan. I could not agree more. I died in the hands of an accurately named tosspot. But there will always be light in darkness. Moxie and her minigame. She provides me with crazy useful shit as long as I perform well in her minigame. And she's got 3 of them. Wordmaster is basically just Wordle. PopCap should probably sue. They'd win for show. Lincoln Spell has you turn a 5x5 grid into solid gold by spelling out words out from the letter tiles. Ugh. Letter Rip, my favorite, has you spell out words out of the letters of the provided word. The speed I could string out words out of nothing is quite impressive if I suck my dick my power levels recharge and the potions restocked. It's time to make Shaitan shit himself. After defeating him, the lamp honors my wish and transports me to the palace. Here I meet the queen's lassies. And so far, I think the genius put more of a fight than these nerds. And just like Russia, I invade the palace with my military might. After the smoke has settled, I discover Queen Scheherazade is actually quite alright. She gives me the Scimitar of Justice, the powerful weapon against evil. But just like NFTs, Twitter likes, Reddit updates, and TikTok trends, it's worthless, unusable, pointless, meaningless, counterproductive, expandable, futile, disadvantageous, non-functional. I get transported back to the Great Library. As I was about to tell Codex of the good news, I caught him getting sucked into a book, telling me that Dracula is kidnapping him. Without a second thought, I say something stupid and jump into a made-up book called the Lexonomicon, the complete tome of monsters. The place is a fucking cesspool. Everyone is so fucking hostile. I feel like I should look over my shoulder at all times. But there are fun adventures to be had. Wait, I know a place just like that. I get greeted by a Twitter mob. Honestly, I don't know if that's still funny or not. And now that we've reached the final world, I cannot use 5-letter words and below, only 6 and above. A handicap? Not at all. The length of my words give me more endurance, potency, and virility. Of course, that meant I had to scramble the grid to at least get the right letters. The scramble button scrambles the grid for a new random assortment of tiles. Sometimes RNG blesses the grid. Most of the time, it makes it worse. I don't recommend you spam the scramble button too often, but let me tell you an exploit. If you reach a certain point where you are able to play all 3 minigames, you can spam the scramble button until you die, and then you can replay the minigames and reap the reward. Do this for how many times you want and profit. Me, I didn't do this in this playthrough because I'm not mentally checked. My journey led me through treacherous roads. I get a tour through Frankenstein's castle, the monster, not the doctor. Get bitten by rabies with hounds. Defeating the furry rewards you with a treasure. Wolf's Bane necklace. Treasures are equipable items that may boost your damage, shield you against damage. Some may even increase the chances of getting potions and gems. You get these treasures by defeating the bosses. Most of them will be replaced by better iterations of themselves. Each of these treasures has their own strengths and uses, but if I'm gonna be honest with you, most of them ain't gonna see much use, especially the Sword of Justice. Also, the ones that require you to spell certain words are kinda shit. Yeah, like how many times will you come upon a set of letters that enable you to spell colors, mammals, and metal? Yeah, I know you can. Red, cat, dog, pink, rat, pig, green, tin, iron. Those are the words you are most likely thinking right now. But notice how fucking short those words are. Are you not ashamed?
A little
You're gonna go to battle with a 2-incher?
I'm embarrassed. This is really embarrassing.
Okay, I understand. I get it. I'll help you out. I recommend these artifacts for maximum enjoyment. The Hand of Theseus, because of the extra worth of damage. The Aegis of Athena, which protects you from an heart's worth of damage. Hephaestus used boots to resist stun permanently, and an actual sack of gems which increases the drop rates for gems. You might notice these are the only treasures I've used through the whole playthrough. A swamp. The swamp monster reveals an ominous clue. Nervously, I go check it out. It turns out Cassandra and the professor are dead, and Death himself is checking them in. With hopelessness and a sincere feeling of defeat, I saunter myself into an abandoned tomb. It so happens to be a tomb of failed heroes, and they see a potential in a worm. No wonder they failed. They set up a series of battles to testify of the various qualities of a hero. Needless to say, I have all the qualities of a hero. The dead wizard hero tells me that Grimm was capping. Now that I have an absolutely massive boost to my self-esteem, I take on Dracula's undead army as a single unstoppable killing machine. Wait a minute, haven't I killed you already? Finally, I reach Dracula's castle. With better fucking run, you cocksucker. Ah, Jonathan, you're banging my asshole. Blah, blah, blah.
Excellent.
Well, that was easy. Kinda overhyped. Prof, you don't look so healthy. Jeez, to be honest with you, the reveal fell so flat it might as well be the Earth. Ah, Codex was the bad guy all along. Whoa! But he does hits like a fucking truck. Holy shit. He summons previous bosses he defeated. I must say, this always makes me sweat. This game was very influential to me. It got me addicted to those little word search booklets. They somehow made a very simple, low-energy, geriatric concept of word-throwing mechanics very fun, just by adding a few and simple RPG elements, paired with very unique animations for each character, giving some life and impact to most of the gameplay. Bookworm Adventure splits action in education. Score: Words 2, Adventure 4, Memories 2, and your score is an 8 out of 10. When I'm done with you, you're gonna breathe through a tube. Holy shit, he's putting up a fight. Attain peace and death, motherfucker. Wait, if you can just cheat like that, then what was the point of Hippopotamonstrous Squipidadalia? Definition: of or pertaining to extremely long word. Codex got this so hard he is annihilated off this plane of existence in 10 different dimensions and 50 realities. Ousted for his evil deeds, the Great Library is left without a master. Well, of course, I get the honorable distinction as the Grand Master of the Great Library, tasked to protect these misty books for eternity. Wow, the Dun said. That was enlightening. And now, I have the power to debate with that dubious detractor.
Finish him!
The loser felt a sense of self-satisfaction with his rebuttal. Now no one can stop him from getting his internet clout, he thought. He then went back to his hollow existence, constantly online, arguing with people on every website, not realizing that he should touch grass. Then bear with me for a second, this is an experiment. I will publish my findings in the next video, if it works or not. Ready? Okay. Like and subscribe and like the like button, click the like button, click the subscribe button, comment down below, comment whatever you like, go down the comment section, hit the bell button, the button bell, hit it, hit the bell button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the bell buttons, like the subscribe button, go comment, go subscribe. Okay, that's enough. So thanks for surviving through that, and thanks for watching the video. God bless and love ya. Mwah.